What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Coffee with Dudes. As not always, but as of recently, we do have our coffee with us. What do you got in the cup today?
I got Pete's coffee. We've been doing that lately. It's just kind of the go-to. I think we've been getting it at Costco, so it's kind of just like the go-to
There you go.
Costco. It's already ground up. We don't have to grind it.
You got
Just
like
throw it.
12 to 15 pounds of it, so you're good for
Yeah,
like a month.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep, got a bunch of it. It's in back stock too. So we
Yeah.
just found one that Katie really likes too, and so I'm like, okay, cool. Like, let's just stick with it. I'm not picky. I'm not too picky. I'm just like, hey, if it's black and it tastes good and and it does the job, cool, sign me up. I'm not too picky, but she's picky about her blend, so I'll just go with whatever she has. What about you, man? What do you got?
I got a little sweet vanilla in
Oh
here.
yeah, you were doing more of the flavored ones, right? Like,
Yeah.
is it the French press or you were doing espresso?
We got the Nespresso, so
Yeah.
we got like a peppermint, a maple, chocolate's one of my favorites. This is a sweet vanilla, and
Yeah.
so it's a good. I love the Nespresso. It actually makes like when you go and have like regular coffee. Sometimes I'm like, ugh, like this
Yeah.
is very good,
It's a,
but
you're like, oh, this is sweet.
uh, brutal, which I never used to be that picky.
Right.
Just like anything, which I'll still drink anything, but now I notice the taste a little
Yeah,
bit.
man, when you get
Just in
spoiled
like
for a
home.
little bit and then all of a sudden you drink peasant water, you're like, this is garbage. This is trash.
Like water. What is
Yeah,
this?
bean water, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Well, good stuff, dude. Well, we got a good topic today. So before we popped on here, I was kind of talking about how it's interesting how I'm sure you've probably been in this place before. I know I have, where sometimes we set these goals for ourselves, and you're just spinning your wheels for like months, years, because you're just not willing to do the things that are needed to achieve that goal. I think we see this a lot in health and fitness where people set these like super lofty goals, or they're like, I want to like with a guy, it's like I want a six pack,
Mm,
right? And we know, first off, that depends on the person, right? It's like how what is needed to achieve that six pack is going to be different for me than it is for you. But a lot of times guys that want a six pack aren't willing to do the laundry list of things needed and not needed. Like you're not willing to cut out certain things
hmm
to achieve that six pack.
hmm
What are your thoughts on this?
That's such a good topic, dude. And I like what we're talking about, this specific like scenario with like wanting a six pack. You see it all the time, right? And there's a
Yeah.
reason why. I don't know the percentages. We could probably do it on ChatGPT real quick, but like, what are the percentages of people from the age of like 25 to 45, maybe 25 to 50? I don't know. That actually have a six pack, like a visible six pack. Like, what are those percentages? I would imagine it's pretty low. Um,
Let me do it while you talk here.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. And the reason I say that is because it's one of those things that when you see it, you're like, whoa, that's cool. That would be nice to have. Just like it would be a super sick car, sweet car, or cool house, or whatever. That would be cool to have. But when it comes down to the action of doing and putting in the things, the inputs that yield that actual output, most of us aren't willing to put the inputs in to get that result. And so that's where you see it's more of like a badge of honor. It's like somebody can go simply, it's easier to go buy like something that's expensive than it is to put yourself through the demands of wearing that badge of honor of like how you look physically, right? That takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of consistency versus if you just have money, right? Like you could just go buy something. So it's like, it's not to that point yet to where I'm sure somewhere in the future, it's like we're kind of getting there and flirting with it a little bit of like, you know, take this drug, take this enhancement and you can get there. But even then, like there's still work that flies under the radar that I think most people don't see, that they're like, oh, once they get into it, they're like, oh, this actually still takes work. And so most people kind of just jump ships once they realize that. I remember I had a buddy that was trying and testing out in like the buds. He was trying to become a Navy SEAL,
Hmm.
and he was going through the training beforehand and then going through the actual test. The first time he went through, he passed out on the water where they had to like tie their hands behind their back and stuff. He passed out, so they automatically fail him. He has to wait a certain amount of time to go back and test again. Came back again, failed the same exact test. And so he was just like, I remember him saying like, dude, there's so much that goes into it that you don't know and you don't understand until like you actually are put in it and you're like, whoa, this is like a different level than what I was anticipating. And so, and that's like with that with everything, right? It's like a lot of people will be like, oh, that'd be cool to be a Navy SEAL. It's like, dude, you don't even know what it would, a fraction of what it would take to become one, let alone he actually went through the process and was like, dude, it was even further than I thought it was going to be. And so, you know, it's, and I think that's with everything. We anticipate it to be like, oh, that's cool. That's a nice shiny object because we're looking at the end result of somebody or something. And we're like, that would be cool. So then we go to actually pursue it and we're like, oh, there's a lot more to the bottom of this iceberg than just the tip that we're seeing. Right. And so I think it's interesting though, man, because it's like, what about the perspective of the person that's like, I'm willing to sign up for all that stuff, like even after you tell me. And so I think that's like what you and I have both learned too, like in like a sales process, is almost like disqualifying somebody and being like, I don't know if this is for you, right? And then you get the person to say like, well, this is for me because I'm willing to do this and do this and do this and do this. And then for us, we're just like, okay, cool, because that's what it takes. So it looks like you're ready to go. So
well, seriously, and that's like it's a lot of it, I think, comes down to like social media too. So like you think about six pack, and just to veer off for a second on the six pack. So this is from ChatGPT. Now take some of this from a grain of salt, but it's kind of like estimates. It says for clearly visible six pack, most men need to be roughly 10 to 12% body fat.
Yeah.
Sometimes more, sometimes less, given muscle mass, genetics. It says based on U.S. body fat and obesity statistics, experts generally estimate about 1 to 3% of men 25 to 45 have clearly visible six pack year round.
1 to 3%?
I would guess it's closer to the 1%.
Yeah.
I would say even less than that. Like, I would say it says some estimates for men over 35, which makes a lot of sense.
Sure.
The average U.S. male body fat percentage is around 28%. If that gives you any sort of thing. And this is a rough real world estimate.
That's wild.
Yeah, rough. Like out of 100 men ages 25 to 45, let's say one of them has genuinely visible six pack, maybe 10 to 15 look fit and athletic. Majority of that group of 100 fall into the average body fat, or like more than above
28%, basically, whatever that was. Yeah.
28% or more.
Yeah.
Right? So if that gets you any, like what it takes, and I know you've had or probably have, you're a fucking beast over there. So you probably have a six pack now. I know I have before in the past, and like I'm not willing to do the stuff needed to do that anymore. It's just like out of my house, but it's a lot. Like it is. Like it is watching what you eat to a T. It is making sure that you're eating enough protein, drinking enough water, like getting 10,000 steps in a day, getting your workout. Like you have to be sleep. Like you need to be like sleeping good. Like there are so many things that go into it that it is a lot, and it's not all it's cracked up to be, in my opinion. Now this is different for different people because some people can achieve it and stick with it with less effort than others based on a number of factors. Like a lot of that is like how much muscle mass do you have? What's your genetic makeup that allows some people to like, kind of effortlessly have a six pack and just like still do things that other people can't get away with and keep it. But for me, I had to like stress about things a lot more than I wanted to. Had to, really stay away from any sort of alcohol, like not eat out as much as I wanted to. And if I did, I would kind of like stress out about like the things I was eating and what was going to be available there. And so I think that the stress it caused me was a lot more than I really wanted, to where I now just like, I'm like, you know what? I just want to be in like pretty good shape all year round, like be able to enjoy my life as well.
Yeah, I'm right with you on that one, dude. Like I've gone to extremes. I think we both have. Like we've gone to extremes and put in everything that it absolutely takes. And great, we can check the box like you look awesome. But at what sacrifice? You know, like at what how much did I have to give up to be able to do this? So like nowadays for me, I'm just like if I can step off the throttle a little bit, maybe I don't look as lean. I can still have a somewhat visible six pack, but more importantly, I can feel good and I don't have to feel like I have to do these things. So for me, it was like, what things can I take off of my plate? I may not be as lean, but I'll feel better. I'll have to do less things like that are required to be able to get to where I want to get. I may not look as a certain particular way, but I'm okay with that because I'm willing to sacrifice some things and just give up some things, you know. But I also don't want to spend all day and 24/7 thinking about it. And so for me, it's just like you said, what's my sweet spot where I feel like I can feel good, I can feel confident. I'm not in a position where I want to completely throw everything out the window and don't give a shit about anything. But like, what are the things that almost come like natural to me that are my anchors that'll put me in a good position to like look good, feel good, and operate to where I feel confident in. And for me, it was just like a handful of things that I just hold on to that for some people are like, dang, that's crazy. But for me, I'm just like, I don't even think about it. Like, it's just what I do every day because I've been doing it for so long. And so I think that's like one of the hacks and one of the tricks that like if anybody's asking for people always ask like what's the easiest way to do something or what's the easiest way to get strong or whatever, like whatever they're asking, it's always just like what are the things that you can integrate into your life seamlessly that at first kind of feel daunting, but if you do them enough times it just feels like you're normal, you're like not doing anything extra. And for me, I almost want to be able to like get on that cruise control, like that autopilot to where it's not like I'm putting in so much extra effort because we've both been there, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that at this point in my life. Like, maybe there are seasons of doing that if I want to, but at right now, I don't, I'd rather enjoy certain foods. I want to go try new restaurants. I want to, when we go out on the weekends and do something, like, I don't want to have to, oh, I can't have that. Like, we still have ice cream probably 5 nights a week out of the 7. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's things that I like to enjoy that are more important to me. And, yeah, I think you just find that sweet spot for yourself and for everybody it's different. So I think just finding that is what's key. What are you willing to do? What are the tasks that you're willing to sign up for? And if you're not, like we talked about when we first started, that's cool. You have to be okay with that too, because you can't be jealous for the other person that is willing to put in that work and is willing to sacrifice that stuff. And you don't have what they have. It's like, well, you're not doing what's required. You're not putting the inputs to yield that output.
Yeah, dude. And really like a good question to ask yourself too is like, what are you not willing to give up? Like, cause it's like a lot of times it comes down to that. Like we're with people with a six pack. And then another thing, I think it's like the two things you see with guys a lot is like six pack. And then I want to make X amount of money. Right. And it's like, those are two things where it's like, what, it's like, okay, cool. Like, oh, you want to make 300K, like cool, like doable. Right.
Mm.
But like, you're gonna have to change some shit to do.
Yeah.
It's like you're gonna like it's not gonna just be like, oh, I'm gonna continue to work 40 hours a week and
Yeah.
like this is just gonna happen, right? It's like you gotta do some shit
Right.
and you gotta give up some shit a lot of times
Yeah.
to some family time, some work life balance. Like, and so a lot of times like there's a certain level I think of income to where like you can have work life balance be on the life side, and then there's a tipping point for and that's forever, it's for different kinds of jobs and whatever.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
a tipping point to where it's like, okay, you're gonna have to be on the more work side of
Yeah.
that, and it's like, are you willing to do that? Like, are you willing to give up the weekends, like a little bit of the weekends, like that you're gonna have to work to achieve that? Like, are you willing to give up the vacations that you maybe would go on if you, and like that's like a lot of times it just comes down to those questions that you got to ask yourself. Oh, you want a six pack? Like, well, are you willing to give up your weekend of your Saturday night drinking? Are you willing to give up the restaurants, like going out to eat on date night with your wife? Yeah, like I think that's
I'm
kind of
not,
seriously me either. And it's
I've been there and I'm like,
cool
dude,
if you want
this
to, right?
sucks. Like, this is cool. Like, great. You skip date night, you skip dinner, you skip, having these snacks and trying new foods and at the sacrifice of what, like, so
Yeah.
for me, yeah, you just, and everybody's going to be different. Some people are like, dude, I am willing to sacrifice that stuff. It's like, cool. Like, to each their own, you know? And then same thing, like you were saying from the business standpoint, I am willing to work weekends. I am willing, you know, and there's different stages in your life that you probably are willing to do those things, but you
The
just
way
gotta,
I see it
yeah,
is I see it as like there's like a lot of social media, I think, has made it seem like it's easier than it is for people
sure.
to do these things. Like people constantly, I see ads about people that are like, I work on the beach and like like it's like I work 6 hours a day and I make a million. It's like, okay, now like maybe you do now. Like if that's the case, like and generally they probably don't make anything, right? It's
Yeah.
like they're just like flaunting this. They're the same people that like go and sit in a private jet like just on the ground and rent it for an hour and like make it seem like they're in the air on it.
Yeah.
And the same thing is like people post on social media their best photos of themselves. Like they're not walking around like that all day every day. Like they are just like, they're after a workout, they did abs, they did legs, they're pumped, right? Like they haven't eaten for
Yeah.
16 hours and then like they look fucking awesome, right? Like
Yeah.
we all have been there. Like
Yeah.
I get in the morning sometimes, even though I'm not in the best shape, like flex in the mirror and it looks like I have like a six pack. Like
Yeah.
it's not a six pack, like it looks somewhat visible abs, right?
Yeah.
And that is not the reality. Like I'll eat breakfast and then like I'll be like, oh, I look pregnant,
Yeah. It's just, I think you just have to ask yourself, right? Like, what are you willing to sign up for? If you're willing to put the inputs to yield the output, and we're using health and fitness as an analogy, but it can go with anything. But health and fitness especially is like, very rarely, there are some one-off scenarios, like there are exceptions to every rule, but very rarely will you see somebody that can get away with taking all of these shortcuts and putting in very minimal inputs and getting this phenomenal output. Very rarely does that happen. There are people, exceptions to the rule, that are absolutely blessed, but generally speaking, like if you're not willing to put the certain inputs in to look and feel and get a desired outcome, it's just like, what are we doing here? And so like I've had to have those tough conversations with clients a lot of times, and it was just like, well, so and so does this, and I was like, well, so and so's inputs look like this. Are you willing to do this? And if not, then what are we even talking about here? Right? That's like going into the store and saying like, I want to buy that TV for $1,000, but I only got $200 today, so I'm going to give you $200. I'm going to take that $1,000 TV. It's like, it doesn't work like that. But in our mind, when it comes to health and fitness, we think like that. We'll think, I'm just going to put in $200 and I'm going to get the $1,000 body. I'm going to get the $1 million body. It's like, well, you can think all you want, but when it actually comes down to it, so I love health and fitness. It's very like, what you put in is what you get out. Like, and there's no BS in it. You can try to BS it, but it'll always come back. It's always going to show. And you can't trick it, man. You're not going to outsmart. You might be outsmart your coach for a little bit, or like lie to yourself or lie to other people that you're doing stuff that you're not. And like, but we can see it, like.
Good thing is like kind of to wrap us up here. Like the good thing is that like, as you kind of alluded to this earlier, like as you do this more, like you can get away with a little bit more. Like when you have more muscle on your body, when you have these ingrained habits that are just like, you just do, like you just drink enough water, you just go on walks every day, it's like normal for you to get your 3 to 5 workouts in a week. Like you don't have to think about these things. You can get away with more stuff.
Sure.
And it's not like you're gonna have, like, clearly you're not gonna have a 6, but you're gonna be able to be in relatively good shape all year round without thinking about it that much.
Yep.
Right? And you might have the time where you're like, oh, I got a little bit away and I can redirect myself, and like, for a month I can kind of put my nose down and I'll be able to get back to it. And the same thing with a job, right? It's like you can, like, there's like in even businesses, like you can get to the point where you have these habits that you just do these things and it's a little bit easier and you do them quicker and you have and then making that money becomes a little bit easier. But that's kind of to wrap us up. Like, do you have anything else to add here before we pop off for the people?
I would just say the last thing I would say here is like encourage everybody to, if you are somebody who wants this super desirable goal or outcome and you're really far away from it, I would say just focus on elevating your baseline, whatever your baseline currently is right now, and elevating that just a little bit and keep moving that bar up little by little. Don't try to reach for this thing that's super high, because when the dust settles, we always fall back to whatever our baseline is. So if your baseline is, if we're using the health and fitness, if your baseline is like not eating out X amount of days right now, and that's the thing that you can kind of do in your sleep, cool, that's your baseline. So let's take, maybe it's 4 days, let's take it down to 3 days and bump your baseline up a little bit and see if you can make that your new normal. Because I think if you can bring your baseline up just a hair, little by little, and do things that don't feel so drastic and so like these crazy changes that are not sustainable for you, you'll put less and less effort into it, and you can kind of do it on autopilot. And so like people look at like my scenario and be like, dang, you walk 10,000 steps a day. I'm like, yeah, like if I walk less than that, I feel like I wasn't doing much. Like 10,000 for me is easy. And I've probably been doing it for 10 plus years. Easy. Yeah. Same thing with like tracking my food. I don't track my food perfectly, but I try to, if I'm a very, basic scenario, I try to at least hit my protein at the bare minimum. And then for training, like, if I'm hitting less than 4 times a week, or if I'm not hitting my 4 workouts a week, for me, I feel off. I feel like something's wrong. I feel like that's like a standard for me. So those are just things that I built up my baseline over time. I didn't just all of a sudden go from nothing and then just jump up to those, because I think that's what people try to do. And so hopefully if you hear this message and go, okay, where is my baseline? How many times do I train? What does my energy expenditure look like? And it could just be one thing. It could just be like, okay, right now I walk 2,000 steps a day. I'm going to try to make that 4,000 and just make that feel like normal. So I'm just going to keep doing it. I'm going to get over the honeymoon phase. I'm going to get over that first hurdle. And then all of a sudden it's just like my new normal. And if you can do that with things little by little, like you'll feel like you're putting little to no effort into it, and you'll be getting that outcome that you're desiring. Just so that would be my feedback to people, is just bump your baseline up little by little. And before you know it, you won't be putting all this extra effort in as if you're going from where you're at now to reaching for these stars. And then you're like, this is way too difficult, can't sustain it. Boom, you're going to fall back down to your baseline anyways. So might as well start inching your baseline up little by little. And I think you'll be a lot happier with yourself.
Couldn't agree more. Well, good stuff. This was a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, like if you aren't, subscribe, follow us. We're on, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all the podcast sites. You can watch us, and share this with somebody you love. This one is a really, really good one as well, to look inward and just like figure out what you're really wanting to do. And it's okay. You don't have to want the goals that other people want. Like just do what you are willing to do, and you're going to be just fine. And so thank you guys. Appreciate you. Have a great rest of the day. We'll be talking to you soon.